wrong mag. Well, let's see what we got. 20 shots counted, 115.5 seconds with an initial delay of 8.59. Well, when I came out here today, I told myself the moment I get more than 10 hits on target, I'm going to call it quits and take what I get. And that's exactly what I've done here. I managed to get 12 hits on target. I'll throw in the picture of the target so you guys can get a better look of it, or look at it. And the time was around 106 seconds or something like that, which ultimately, when I did all the calculations and stuff, gave me a score of 56 points, I believe. I'll put in the exact score in the video here. So yeah, not too shabby for probably what is the first LMG to actually be used in the Cabin Fever Challenge, as far as I'm aware of. One thing that might be a little controversial is the LMGs do have a relatively permanently affixed bipod to them. You can drive them out. I'm going to do that later on because I'm going to talk about this in a different video, but I ain't going to keep this thing as an LMG. I'm going to modify it. But you have to drive out a pin anyways to get the bipod off. So I left it on, and I would have folded it back because it is able to fold back. But I opted not to because there's a lot of criticism online that when you fold them back like this and shake the gun around, the legs, which are relatively sharp, can gouge up the forend here, which I don't want because I'm going to be keeping the forend on this thing. So I left the bipod down, but I was very careful to make sure I didn't use it to support my shot in any way. There is a few moments where when I was laying prone, it gets so close to the ground that I was definitely hitting the ground while I was getting into position and moving the gun. But I'm pretty sure if you review the footage, I was very careful to make sure it was not assisting in my aim. Like when I shot the gun prone, the legs were not touching the ground. So anyways, that is what it is. I'm not here to win or I'm just out to have fun and shoot the competition. So if I get disqualified for that, that's all fair. No worries. But yeah, ultimately I'm pretty happy with that score, and I'm pretty happy with this rifle. I literally just got this rifle in the mail like 3 days ago. I ordered it from Tactical Imports. It is a Type 81SA LMG model. And so far, I only shot it today. I probably got about 60, 80 rounds through it or so, maybe a little more. But it's 100% reliable, and it's by far the softest shooting 7.62x39 gun I've ever fired. Like I've fired AKs, I've fired, you know, the SKS, VZ58, all of them. This and my other Type 81 Q Sun, that's a rifle, and this one is soft. Like it's super pleasant to shoot. So I'm really enjoying it. And it's surprisingly pretty stable to hold. Even though it has this huge, beefy, heavy barrel on it, it's still relatively, it's like holding an M14, I would say. You know, it's front heavy, it feels like a big gun, but it ain't too bad. But one big limitation it still has, just like its rifle counterpart, is the iron sights on these guns are extremely coarse. They're coarser than your standard comm block like AK or SKS iron sights. The front post on this thing is like pretty much, it's the whole size of this at 100 meters. So just like the rifle, it's pretty hard to make precise shots downrange with these things, in my opinion. This one is slightly better than the rifle because it has the front sight moved ahead about 5 inches or so you get a slightly longer sight radius, which helps. Anyways, huge limitation with this gun. I'm going to talk about this more in another video here that I'll release soon, but ultimately I'm going to take this thing apart in the coming months, and I'm going to turn it into a Tabuk rifle clone. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tabuk. Anyways, so it's going to have a POSP. It's going to lose a lot of the LMG features. So that'll be a fun project, and I think I'll enjoy shooting it a lot more than the way it is right now. despite me being quite happy with this. Anyways, that's my official submission for the vintage class, I guess. This year it was decided that for the vintage class category of the Cabin Fever Challenge, the cutoff date for rifles that could enter that category would be 1958 and older, and that date is going off of development date. So generally speaking, if the rifle was being developed or was successfully developed by 1958, it should be, and it's in its factory form or as issued form, it should fall into the vintage class category of this challenge. That being said, there is exceptions to that rule. If you happen to have an older styled semi-automatic that you think should meet these requirements, just given its design and ergonomics that it presents and whatnot, feel free to email the Cabin Fever Challenge and get in contact with the refs and state your case, and it will be discussed, and there's a good chance that an exception will be made. That is exactly what happened with the Type 81 rifles here. The Type 81s were developed and issued around the 1980s. So therefore, going off of that alone, that would, by the rule standards, that would make this gun a modern unlimited rifle for the Cabin Fever Challenge, which, given the factory form of this thing and the ergonomics and design that it presents, it just doesn't seem right. So there's that. Thanks for watching, and I definitely look forward to seeing your submissions. Take care.